Hello viewers, I am Major General Neelendra Kumar for my playlist Lex Consilium Foundation, talking to, in conversation with one of the well-known and perhaps the best air warrior we have had in India post-independence, talking to Air Marshal V.K. Bhatia. In this video, my question to you is that during the 71 war, you were a flight commander of a fighter bomber squadron, in a fighter bomber squadron, and you are known to have taken a number of missions deep inside Pakistan territory. And this involved the places like Muri, Chakala, and also to gain intelligence. Now, would you like to tell our viewers your impressions as you recollect of this 71 war in Western sector?
First of all, I'd like to say that during 71, I was posted to a Su-7 squadron, number 32 to be exact, but I was not the flight commander.
Okay.
I was actually the junior most squadron leader in the squadron. But I was also selected to attack one of the deepest airfields during the war. The counter missions were against a place called Shorkot Road. Shorkot Road was an airfield which appeared to have come about between 65 and 71. And nobody knew about it except when some of the Bengali defectors from Pakistan before the war commenced actually revealed its existence. So this particular airfield, along with Sargodha, was given to our squadron for counter-air missions.
Okay.
So while our CO, Wing Commander Mangat, was to lead his formation for attack against Sargodha, I was selected to lead the formation against Shorkot Road. Shorkot Road was deeply located, and therefore we could not reach that base at low level with normal fuel tanks. We had to carry 4 drop tanks, and out of them, 2 of them had to be long-range drop tanks, not the normal ones.
Yes.
The normal ones are generally 600 liters. These were 900-liter drop tanks. So you can imagine the aircraft was fully loaded with 4 drop tanks, and therefore the only thing we could carry, which was not actually allowed, was to carry rocket pods on 5th and 6th stations under the wing.
Okay.
And this also put a lot of restrictions on how you would handle the aircraft, especially before the fuel finished in the tanks. We practiced, and we managed to get the better of the problem, and we were able to do so. So when the war was declared and we were given this task, I remember it was 4th morning after their preemptive attacks on 3rd evening that we went to Shorkot Road.
Just at the start of the war?
Just at the start of the war. As I mentioned to you, that the existence of this airfield was not known earlier. So we, depending upon the inputs, intelligence inputs, we were given 2 probable locations of this particular airfield, which were about 40 kilometers apart.
Okay.
So we had to plan for both, because we were not sure which is the right position. We were very lucky that in the actual experience, when we went up, the first airfield that we tried,
which was the one
which came to which was the real one.
Yes.
And therefore we could go in for the attacks immediately. We carried out rocket attacks against these airfields in the morning. Now this airfield again was taken by total surprise in the first sortie, and because they were not expecting us. And the actual position was that we were able to carry out 2 attacks without being intercepted or even without any ack shell being fired against us.
There was really no resistance in the first 2.
In the first. So we carried out 2 successful attacks where we selected their ORP pens and so on and so forth, as also some Canberras which had come there for refueling after sorties.
Okay.
We came back and we told our bosses
Yes.
that we should immediately refuel, rearm and go and attack again.
Yes.
But we were told that now it will have to be done at dusk time,
Okay.
purely staff college time.
Yes.
Evening sorties.
Yes.
And they were also connected with some sorties which were being flown. For example, our CO was going towards Sargoda.
Okay.
But in the evening, when we went, the entire thing was different. I recall that as I was turning from the IP or initial position, as you call it, for heading towards the target, the entire airfield was covered with ack shells.
Okay.
You could see them from a distance, and they were like an umbrella covering the entire airfield.
Giving a shield, yes.
So when we went in for the attack, we had to go through the umbrella to reach our firing ranges to be able to get to the target. And we did the first attack. In the first attack itself, my number 4 was shot down by ack.
Okay.
We didn't know at that time, but when I turned around for the second attack, I found that my number 3 was without his wingman.
Okay.
But we went ahead with the second attack as well, and we came away. And as we came out and we were exiting from the target, we found that we were being chased by sabers.
You were chased.
Chased by sabers.
Yes.
So as I was telling you, that the entire surprise had been lost.
Okay.
By selecting the dusk time for the attack, they were waiting for us with the entire guns of what they call ack as well as the interceptors. And those bases, some of them, in Pakistan, were so heavily defended. For example, I'm given to understand that Shorkot Road has as many as 108 guns of different calibers. I'm talking about the ack to
for the air defense.
Cover the airfield. Compared to our airfields, where we had maximum 12 guns, and that too at major air bases. So you can imagine the kind of
resistance that was,
kind of umbrella that had been put up there.
Deterrence also.
And it is a surprise that we lost only 1 guy. He was, of course, fortunate to have ejected, and he was taken as POW and later repatriated to India after the war.
Yes.
Then when we came and we got, as I mentioned to you, we got intercepted by the sabers. So we had to take evasive action because we did not have fuel to fight them, to be able to recover.
That was the limitation, yes.
So we had to jettison our tanks, and I gave an order for that, and we carried out an evasive action, and we were successful in slipping out of the clutches to be able to make it back to the
safely,
base.
Yes.
But having lost these tanks, as you know, I mentioned to you that we were carrying long-range tanks as well. We had only 5 sets. Now we found that one of the formation members, who was my number 3, Flight Lieutenant Tambey, who was a great friend of mine as well, like all of us, he had not heard my call, and he had not jettisoned his tanks.
Okay.
And we had to actually slow down for him to be able to catch up with us.
Yes.
But fortunately, we had lost the sabers, or they had lost us, if I put it correctly, and we were able to recover at Amritsar without any further mishap. But now we are in a fix because we had only one extra set of long-range drop tanks. But because Tambey had not jettisoned his tanks, we managed to get two sets of these tanks. And next day, therefore, we were tasked to carry out the third attack against Shorkot Road with two aircraft this time.
Okay.
So who went there? Self and Tambey, of course, volunteered to come with me. So two of us went all the way to Shorkot Road again next morning. That is on the fifth morning, to carry out the attacks. By this time, they had realized that we had registered their airfield. We had done two attacks already, and therefore they had made more arrangements in terms of putting decoys and so on and so forth. Anyway, we managed to carry out the first attack. We went out and turned around for the second attack. And when we pulled up and went in for the attack, I saw my number two, that is Tambey, getting hit because his aircraft started smoking. So smoke was coming out from his air. And I knew that he had been hit by ACAC.
Okay.
This was top of the dive. So I gave him a call that he had been hit. He did not acknowledge. And then I gave him a call to eject. He did not respond to that also. So I don't know what happened. I must have given him 5 or 6 calls to eject. But I didn't hear anything.
There was no response.
And then I saw the aircraft itself hitting next to the runway near the ORP and going up in a ball of fire. I, of course, recovered from the dive, and now I was left alone because the aircraft had gone. So I did a turn. I'd come so low that I actually found the trees above me.
Yes.
And then I managed to go over them and then did a turn towards the base. And a return single-handed. Luckily, there were no sabers behind me, or they must have tried, but were not able to catch me. I had, of course, lost my number two, and then I managed to recover the aircraft at Amritsar. And now, because we had lost all our long-range tanks, that was the last sortie over Shorkot Road. But let me also tell you that those 3 missions that we did were the maximum number of missions carried out against any airfield in Pakistan
during
the war.
Okay.
During the war. And I think total number of aircraft that the claims that were given to us after Cine analysis of the gun cameras was 7 aircraft. But we lost 2 aircraft at that time. Out of them, as I mentioned, Gary, he came back after being a POW. But as far as Tambey is concerned, it is still shrouded in a mystery. We still don't know what happened to him. There were a lot of talk about him being taken as POW, but he was not repatriated. And even today, as you know, 71 to now, how many years have passed, but there's no news of him.
But was it confirmed that he had survived in that?
It's hard to say because
speculate.
I did not see him ejecting
because he did not. There was no response.
There was no response. I did not see him ejecting, but it came on Park Radio the very next day that he had been taken a POW. During the war itself. But why is it that he was not repatriated? It's a mystery.
That's a mystery.
So we don't know.
Now these are the actual real stories of the 71 war, the valor, the sacrifice, the encounters. Be with us. We would continue with more such war accounts.